Hey Pet Pros, Bill here, bringing you a detailed breakdown on surcharges. Our surcharge system allows you to create any number of dynamic fees which can be included in your transactions. Recovering lost revenue from credit card processing fees is just the beginning. This extremely flexible system can automate the process of applying surcharges by category or tender and can be leveraged through the various checkout areas of the system. You'll find the surcharges by going to the main navigation menu, then Account, Settings, and searching this menu for surcharges. Let's have a look at this new surcharge form. As you can see, you can make the new surcharge that you're creating now as inactive straight out of the gate. This will allow you to create an entire library of surcharges that you can then activate and deactivate as you see fit. An example would be for some surcharges that only exist during certain times of the year. The first field is the label. Create a friendly and concise label for your surcharge. This surcharge label will be presented to your clients at checkout and on their receipt. Next, determine if the surcharge applies to items on an individual basis or the transaction as a whole. You could set the surcharge amount and type, so this will either be a fixed amount or a percentage. Next, you'll set the checkout areas where you'd like to focus this surcharge. For example, you can have this surcharge only apply when clients are being checked out through your point of sale here in the dashboard. Alternatively, you can choose for it to be only applied during online booking or web pay, which would be an invoice paid through the online payment section. You can also select more than one area for the surcharge to apply if it's a global surcharge. Next, you can either leave this as all inventory categories or choose from a list of your specific categories for inventory items. You can select any number of inventory items. And optionally, you can define either all tenders so that this surcharge applies across the board, or specific tenders where this applies. An example would be a credit card surcharge, which only applies then to the credit tender. Keep in mind that item level surcharges will be applied to each item in the transaction. When using a percentage type surcharge, the behavior of this is the same as the transaction level surcharge. If, however, you're using a fixed amount on an item level surcharge, your fees will compound for each of the items. As an example, if we have a $2 fixed amount surcharge on a transaction with 2 grooming items, the surcharge total will be $4. As a contrast, if we have the same surcharge on a transaction level, the total surcharge in this case will only be $2. Keep in mind that some surcharges are regulated in certain jurisdictions. Be sure to check your local laws before implementing fees with common labels such as convenience fee, card surcharge, and others which have very specific meanings and may be regulated by law. Not all areas enforce rules around surcharges, so be sure to check your local legislation to figure out if you're doing things the way they need to be done. We'll create a new surcharge. This one is going to be a sample card processing. Card processing fee. All right, we're going to make this at transaction level. It's going to be a percentage. It's going to be 2.99. And it will apply everywhere. We're going to leave this as all categories, but we will go down to a specific tender of credit and save. Boom. That's done. Card processing fee is now implemented and it's instantly live. You can see the 2.99%. If we go to run a transaction, actually, let me go back here. I have some old ones that are still activated. Let's deactivate these. So we'll mark that as inactive. We'll remove this one as inactive. Okay. Let's create a new shopping cart real quick here. I'm going to create a groom, and then I'm going to go in and do a credit card transaction. As you can see here, we just have the subtotal of $45 and our tax. I'm going to click the credit debit button, go in no tip, and accept. Let's go back. I'm going to cancel this payment because I don't really need to do that. And you can see our credit card processing fee shows up here as $1.43. So that was instant. I don't know, you guys can time it. I think that took us maybe about 30 seconds to create the new surcharge, and that will allow it to be used across the entire community of things here. Okay, so also if you'd like to cover that per transaction fee, which is standard on all payments, you would create a new surcharge with a fixed amount. Let's have a look at that as well. So we'll do this, what is that, flat processing. We'll just label it that. It's going to be transaction level, fixed amount, We'll do 30 cents, and we'll do it everywhere. All categories. Tender again will be credit, and we'll save. So your flat processing fee, you have to keep in mind, if you guys are trying to recover all of this, which again, check your local legislation and see if you can do this. But if you're trying to do all of it, you're going to want to make sure you use your processing percent, but also the per transaction charge, which can be 30 cents. I know if you use the terminal, it's 5 cents and 2.79%. So set this up the way you want it to be. Some localities don't allow you to exceed that amount. So if you're only paying 2.99%, you can't charge a 5% credit card surcharge. But what you can do is create your own surcharge of something else of 2% and then add it to it if you'd like to. But just don't use that phrase of convenience fee or card surcharge or processing fee. You leave those out of the label and come up with your own kind of unregulated fee. In the end, you are allowed to charge, as far as my knowledge goes, you are allowed to charge fees for your services however you see fit, but there are some particular keywords that are regulated. So let's go through another example. I have 2 more for you. The next example would be a waste management fee. Let's say you're a boarding facility. We'll create this here, waste MGT to keep it short. What are we going to do here? Let's do a transaction total fixed amount. We're going to charge each one of our clients $1. That's going to be everywhere, but we're going to choose specific categories for boarding, and that's all that's going to apply. Tenders, it'll actually be all tenders on that one, so it applies to everything that goes through. And as you can see, our waste management now is going to be for POS, online booking, and web pay, but it's only going to apply to those items that are sold with the boarding category. Now, one particular little caveat here is when it's a transaction level surcharge, all you need is one item in the transaction that's part of this boarding category. So your item categories, if I've lost you guys a little bit here, products and services, item categories, this is where you set them up. So your item categories, you only need to have one item placed in the boarding category for this fee to take place inside that transaction, which is really cool. Okay, so let's have a look at this waste management. It's for the boarding category, so let's go in and we will create a new cart. I have one board service in the system, so let's select that. And you'll notice that the waste management fee ends up over here underneath the subtotal and tax area. So your total is going to be $2 for that. So that'll add on at any time. If I happen to, I'll edit this and I'll take it off the boarding. I'll put it to, accessories. Let's save that. We'll do this one more time with the POS. We're going to go board and we'll select that. And you'll notice that it doesn't add that surcharge because it's not in that category. What else do I have here? This card surcharge we talked about. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's create one more. Surcharge label. Let's do a travel fee. Travel/fuel fee. All right, this is our last example, so stick with me, guys. This one's going to be for mobile services. You're going to want this on a transaction level. It will be usually a fixed amount. Let's just say something like $3 for, you can put the $sign in there if you want. $3, let's say, for that. We're going to use all 3 sections of the checkouts category. We could choose specific categories. Let's pretend that grooming, was mobile grooming. I would definitely suggest specific categories here if you have more than just a mobile service. So if you have a salon and mobile, you'll want to create item categories, one for each, and then you would just apply this to the mobile categories for mobile services. And keep in mind that you can, assign multiple different categories to a single item. So you can have something that's both grooming and mobile grooming as categories if you wanted to do that. All right. So then as far as tenders, I would leave this as all tenders. And then this will do it for you. So all tenders, we have this all set up, we save it. And now anything that we, any services that we do for clients that are mobile will incur this, the travel fuel fee. And that will be $3 per transaction. So it looks like we created all transaction level surcharges. Let's do one more surcharge. We're going to say that this is specific to a nail service. service fee. All right, I'm not getting too creative with these today. So it's going to be item category, fixed amount or percentage. Let's just say we charge 10% more to do nails for some specific reason. Now, you can actually, this I just had a great idea. You can have a nail service fee. Let's say you add 20%. Maybe you add a premium for anything that involves like difficulty. So you can create a new nail services category that says basically, level 2 nail services, and assign that to those specific items. And then when you hit that level 2 nail service, it will add 20%, to that. So nail services, let's see what we have in there. Not sure if we have anything in there. Let's say nail painting, nail services. Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. So we do have one. Let's try that out, see if that works. I believe it was nail painting. Oh, this has no price on it. So you can see because it has no value, your service fee does show up on the side here, but it's $0. So let's say it was $20. You can see your nail service fee updates to $4, and there's your total. So what I can do here is I'll run this transaction to give you guys an idea of what this is going to look like. Let's go to our transactions, manager tools, reports. We'll open this in a new tab, pull up these transactions for today, and we'll have a look. As you can see here on the receipt that both you'll have in the dashboard and the clients can see through their digital receipts, you'll see the nail service fee. So any of these surcharges will be included in the receipt, and it's very obvious to them what's happening here. So the very most important things are that you let your clients know that you will be charging some sort of surcharges, even if it's just a little sign somewhere. And then, that we follow up on our end and make sure that they can see it so they can quantify exactly what they spent this money on. I'm really excited about these surcharges. You guys have been asking for them for a very long time, and we finally found the time in the development cycle to include them. And I hope you're satisfied with the extent to which you can create your surcharges. They're extremely flexible, and you have tons of manners in which you can assess these, limiting them to each individual area if you want to, picking certain categories that they apply to, and is it an item or a transaction level? And so, like for example, this nail service fee that we just created, that's 20% on that individual item. That's not on the entire shopping cart. So if you had other things in there, it won't add to your total just because someone put the nail service fee on there. So it's very flexible. You find some great ways to use this. Reach out through support. If you guys have questions, we're there to help you with the answers.